Right. Welcome back to another edition, another episode of my movie review series. This is episode 15. And last week, if you missed it, well, check it out. Last week I went live for the first time and I said that I was going to review the first Spider-Man movie. Yep. The first, wait for it, the first Spider-Man movie. So yeah, yeah. I went back to videotape. Uh huh. Went back to videotape. Yeah, 2002. That's when this first movie came out in 2002. So yeah, 2002. I got videotape. I tell you, man, you won't find that anywhere else. That's a rare find nowadays. Okay, you can only get that on eBay. But then, if you get one of these, how you gonna make it work, right? How you gonna play it? Well, there's this thing called VCR, and that's another story that it's gonna have to be talked about a whole other time. But yeah, this review, Spider-Man. Now, back in the day, you know, this was the third movie. This movie right here, Spider-Man. This was the third movie that broke out the resurgence of superhero films, of successful superhero films. This was the third movie. The first one was Blade. The second one was X-Men. This is the third movie that came out. In the early 2000s, the resurgence of superhero films and the dawning of what is now known as the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, this is pre-Marvel right here. So yeah, Spider-Man 2002, starring Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, William Dafoe as the Green Goblin, the beautiful Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane Watson, James Franco as William Dafoe's son, his character, James Franco as Harry Osborn. William Dafoe played Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin. And I gotta tell you something. This movie, I guess you could say this movie was pretty much a catalyst in some form, a catalyst in a few actors' careers, because you've seen Tobey Maguire in before Spider-Man, you've seen him in other films, here and there, Pleasantville or The Center House Rules, but this movie really blew him up. Okay, Spider-Man, this movie, Spider-Man, this movie really blew him up. Okay, Kirsten Dunst, this movie, even though she had notoriety of already, she did a lot of other movies, most notably, Bring It On, the cheerleader movie, and that came out 2001, and then comes this movie right here, and this pretty much has defined her career in a way. And then you have James Franco, not many people knew about, but when this movie came out, and then he started getting a lot more work, he really starting to be known, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then you have some faces that you would never have expected. Okay, I mean, Octavia Spencer is in this movie, and you may not recognize her name, but if you've seen her, you would know who she is. But yeah, before she did, um, what's the name of that movie? Hidden Gems or Hidden something like that. This movie's nominated for the Oscar. But yeah, before she did that movie, and before she did The Help, she was making appearances here and there in other films. But this movie right here, it's like, I guess you could say it's like a cameo. You can say that now because she's so well known now. But she had a short role in this movie, a very short role. I mean, and then you have now here's a real big surprise. Joe Magneto is in this movie. He played Flash Thompson. Yeah, it's one of those blink or you'll miss it type of things. Even though Flash Thompson was a very notable character in Spider-Man, in the Spider-Man comics. In the high school years, this in this movie, the scenes when they were in high school, you know, Joe Magneto, he played Flash Thompson, the bully in this movie. And yeah, I tell you, man, if you know Joe Magneto now, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but yeah, if you know him now, if you've seen him before now, then you wouldn't really recognize him in this movie. I mean, of course, in this movie, he's very young. But yeah, hair all spiked up, clean shaven, and he wasn't as big. Now, I mean, he had some, he had a pretty good build, but he wasn't as muscular back then as he is now. Because you know, if you know him now, you've seen him in True Blood, and he did a movie with Schwarzenegger called Sabotage, and he gonna be playing Deathstroke in the next Batman movie, The Batman. So yeah, keep looking out for that. They finally got the director. But yeah, Joe Magneto was in this movie. I'll tell you, this movie, yeah, it brought a lot of people into the spotlight. And it brought somebody else back into the spotlight. Yeah, it brought the Macho Man Randy Savage back into the spotlight. Ooh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, get this, he played a wrestler. Yeah, he played a wrestler in this movie. When Peter had to go and he did the wrestling match as the human spider. The human spider. Yeah, who he was wrestling in a cage match? Who he was wrestling? The Macho Man, but he wasn't playing the Macho Man. Randy Savage was not playing Macho Man Randy Savage. He was playing a wrestler in this movie called Bonesaw McGraw. Bonesaw is ready. So yeah, man, I tell you. But yeah, a lot of well-known actors today, they all were brought in to do this movie. A lot of well-known actors, big name right now, including Elizabeth Banks. Now, you won't recognize her because you see Elizabeth Banks. She always have the big flowing, wavy blonde hair. You see her with the big flowing, wavy blonde hair. And then You see her in this movie that she do not have the big full wavy blonde hair. She got this short bob like hair, heavy bangs and cut short and it's like a curl at the end here, and you know well coiffed. She got that type of hairstyle. She playing a chick named Betty Brant. She works at the Daily Bugle. And speaking of the Daily Bugle, J.K. Simmons, of course, you know him. If you've seen the Spider-Man films, you know who J.K. Simmons played. So, J. Jonah Jameson, and who is Spider-Man? A menace. That's what he is. So, yeah, yeah. I tell you, this movie, I like to believe, it was a catalyst for bringing a lot of today's well-known actors into the spotlight. You know, that's what I like to believe. But it's true. I mean, once you really look at it, a lot of actors got a lot more work. A lot of those actors got a lot more work after doing this particular film, after doing this movie right here. A lot more actors got a lot more work after doing this movie. So yeah, I like to believe that it brought him into the spotlight, and it brought the Macho Man, Randy Savage, back into the spotlight. That's what I like to believe. But yeah, I tell you, man, this movie. This movie it holds a little bit of a. I guess you could say it brings a whole little bit of a relation towards me because this movie came out in '02, and Peter Parker graduated high school in this movie. And watching this movie, in 2002, and watching it again, when it came out on video and everything like that, watching it in 2003, I graduated high school myself in 2003, so watching this movie and hearing Norman Osborn, when he's talking to Peter Parker, hearing him saying that, commencement, end of one thing, start of another thing. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what you guys said. So yeah, and then for me at that time, yeah, commencement, man, graduation, commencement, end of one thing, start of another. You know, yes, I had a nice little relation to that. You know, so yeah, it just brought me a bit of warmth, and still get that feeling after, you know, still get that feeling after years later, because I got that nice little relation to it. So yeah, but yeah, I tell you though, man, this movie, yeah, it was a hell of a picture, man. Hell of a picture. I mean, come on, it was like one of the biggest things that came out in the summer of 2002. One of the biggest things that came out. So yeah, one of the biggest movies. Matter of fact, this movie and I'm trying to think. Did X-Men 2 come out in 2002 or did it come out in 2004? I think it came out in 2004. I think. But yeah, anyway. Yeah. This was the biggest movie that came out in 2002. I'll tell you that. Tell you that right now. Spider-Man. But yeah, man, I tell you though. It just it's just one of those movies to bring out of nostalgic feelings towards it. The feels, what the kids say these days. The feels. So yeah, this movie, Danny Elfman did the score for this movie. It's directed by Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi, the a horror director doing a superhero film. Who knew? Huh? Sam Raimi. Well known for directing movies like the Evil Dead films, and you know, horror director doing a superhero movie. Now he's well known for doing the Evil Dead films and the Spider-Man films. So yeah, just like commencement. You know, one thing started something new. You know. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Danny Elfman, doing the score in this movie. As a matter of fact, he did the score for all three of the Spider-Man films. So and of course, if you've seen my my Batman reviews, if you've seen those, if you have not seen those, then go and check them out. You know, right here. Go and check them out. So yeah, the reviews for Batman and Batman Returns. If you've seen those, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. When I boast about Danny Elfman and the wonderful work that he does, man. The great job that he does, as far as musical scores is concerned. So yeah, it's one of those movies, it's one of those movies that at a certain point in time in one's life, like for me, for graduation, it it will, uh, it will catch you, I mean, this movie, again, this movie, you know, this is like one of the fewer times that I had watched it with real good friends of mine. So yeah, you know, I guess you could say this movie has sentimental value behind it for me. I guess you could say that. Hey, awesome. But yet, Spider-Man 2002, baby. You know, the movie is amazing. It's spectacular. What more can I say about it, right? I mean, let's read the reviews from this cassette tape here. Yeah, wondrous to behold, pure spun gold. It's awesome. Tell you that. Tell you that much. Now, um, what more can I really say about it except for the fact that this movie is very memorable. It had one of the most memorable scenes of all time. I'm talking about the kiss between Spider-Man and Mary Jane. The upside down kiss, so yeah, he had that. Great fight scenes between Spider-Man and Green Goblin. You know, especially the infight. The infight. They kind of pay homage to the comics in that infight because in fact the final fight they pay homage to the comics in that because there was a moment when Goblin he was gonna trick Spider-Man. You know, Goblin. He's he distracted Spider-Man. He was getting his ass kicked. Okay, Spider-Man built up his second win. Just beating him, just feeding him right hands in that fight, just beating him and beating him. You know, Goblin. He surrendered. He's like, he switched it from the Green Goblin to Norman Osborn. He's like, Peter, stop! It's me. Reviewing himself, and throughout that little ordeal, It was Parker, you know, throughout that little ordeal. Not Parker, but it was Norman. It was Green Goblin that was controlling me through like a remote control on his glider, and a blade shot out. He was flying towards Peter. You know, his spider senses caught it. He jumped out the way, and the glider came in, caught Goblin. You know, impaled him, dead. And in the comics, that happened too. Not the whole beating him into submission type of thing, but he tried to pull off the same sneak attack. You know, the glider came in, and Spider-Man moved out the way and took Goblin right in the chest, took him out. You know, yeah, the Green Goblin didn't show up in the comics for quite a very long while until one issue when he made his surprise return. But that's a whole different other story. I'm not going to get into because the Clone Wars in Spider-Man, the Spider-Man comics, is difficult enough to talk about. Trust me when I tell you, boy. I mean, it got my brother collecting comics, Spider-Man comics anyway. It got the Clone Wars. It got him collecting Spider-Man comics, and unfortunately, that's what that was what got him to collect Spider-Man comics. The terrible, terrible Clone Wars. That story. Well, yeah, I'll tell you. Whew. But I'm not getting into that. You know, want to know about the Clone Wars? Do yourself a favor. Look that shit up. Yeah. Yeah, I tell you though, man. It's one of those movies, one of those awesome movies that, when you watch it, you will watch it, you will enjoy it. So yeah, Spider-Man 2002, part of the first wave of superhero films, the resurgence in that first wave of superhero films, from 98 all the way up to 2008. A good 10-year basis, of superhero films in that first wave, from Blade all the way up to Iron Man. And then, Iron Man, that was the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, you know, without knowing, because, Iron Man was a good standalone movie once you really look at it, once you really take out the end credit scene, it's a real good standalone movie. It may as well have been part of the first wave of superhero films, but nope. So yeah, but I gotta tell you something though. Speaking of paying homage, you know, at the closing credits, of this movie, at the closing credits, you will hear the theme song to the Spider-Man cartoon back in the 1960s. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That song. You will hear that song in its entirety in the closing credits. So that's awesome. And if you want to stay for the closing credits, just check out my link down below. I'll give you the theme song of that, and I'll give you the opening of the '90s Spider-Man cartoon, and also I'll give you the trailer of this movie. So check that out, and well, like I said, man, it's nothing more I gotta really say about this movie. I mean, hey, Spider-Man, go ahead and check it out, baby. Check this shit out. Check this out. It's a great movie. Real good. Real great. Now, I'm off. Out of here. Nothing more I gotta say. Except this. I will not be doing a review on Spider-Man 2 because I got something real special for that movie. Something real special planned for that movie. And not just in that movie, but a few other superhero sequels. So be on the lookout for that. And be on the lookout for episode 16 next week when I will be talking about the first X-Men movie. So yeah, be on the lookout, baby. Because I'm coming back next week, next Saturday. Another X-Men. another episode. Talk about the X-Men. So yeah, make sure you're here for that. I will be. I have to be. I gotta upload. All right, you guys take care. And don't go driving drunk now. Don't go texting either. Okay, yeah, you guys take care.